The stepper, step inside, take a seat, feel the magic in the air. Cards on the table, let the spirits take you there. Aeson's got the insight, Joe's teching up the show. Sip that truth, honey, let the mystic wisdom flow. Oh, ooh, it's the Sidekick Coffee Shop, where the vibes are high and the tea gets hot. Mystic minds with a little sass, talking life, the stars and shadows past. From tarot spreads to future sights, we're spilling secrets left and right. So grab your cup, let's take a ride on this cosmic caffeinated guide. Yun, ooh, it's the Sidekick Coffee Shop.
Good evening, and welcome to Psychic Coffee Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and of course I'm with Techie with the Mostest, Techie Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing well. Let's go back to that intro. I was still jamming out.
I know, we could do that. We could definitely go back to the intro.
Hey, Brenda.
Hello, Brenda. How are you, darling? How is everybody? How's the Techie?
Doing well, doing well. It's been a busy day. Sorry, we're running a little behind here. But, yeah, we shoot for the 8 p.m. We just try to get there.
Well, and there's so much fast-moving news. One of the news stories we're covering today is fast-moving. It has literally been like minutes ago it was announced. I'll go ahead and flip this on for the fun and giggles because there's been already a question asked in chat. So yes, I will be taking questions. Yes, there will be a review video done later tonight. My patrons should have it tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And public is to be dated.
And just a reminder, month, day, and year, all three. We need all three parts of a birthday if you want Aeson to answer questions.
Yes.
All right.
Hello, Nat. Hello, Marta. All right, here we go.
Hey, Maria.
So last night we got some very sad news that Pope Francis has died. That means we will be seeing white smoke again soon. Very few people get confused. No, I don't have a Catholic background. That position is very influential in the religious dogma area, which is why we always report on the Pope passing. We've now seen 4 in our lifetime. One's just retired. But I don't know. What do you think, Joe? Like, why do you think the Pope has such an incense?
Well, I mean, it's a very, like, the Catholic Church is a very old institution, and it kind of, how to phrase it best? I think that when you have something that has existed as long as the Catholic Church, its leader, is an influence of its own. Not that I mean, granted, the Vatican is a city-state.
Right.
So in addition to being a religious leader, also a world leader.
Right.
So, like, the Catholic Church is still a very, like, I don't want to say domineering influence, but they do have a very large following.
Right.
So things that come out of the Vatican, that come out of the Pope, and how the Pope, embraces or distances from the topics, ultimately ends up going out to a whole lot of people and can influence a lot of different countries, a lot of different policies, a lot of different handling of situations. So, like, in a lot of what we have seen, especially out of Pope Francis and the popes before him, have actually been a major benefit,
right?
Especially to the LGBTQ community, to women, Again, we're not saying that the Catholic Church modernized to the 21st century and got on board, but the approach has been a lot better.
It has been.
Than the actual stances the church has had over previous generations, millennia. That we've definitely moved out of the Dark Ages.
Right.
And it is becoming a more embracing, not totally embracing, but more embracing. And at least the message is one that has been. We'll see where the next pope takes it. And I think sometimes that's the real concern. Is what's the next pope going to do? Where's the next pope coming in at? Who are they going to choose? How are they going to, are they going to continue this trajectory? Are they going to be like, about face, cover your heads and be subservient to your husbands and let's stone some gay people?
Well, see, that'll be interesting because the the covering your heads thing, that is back to the 80s. And now, granted, some of the older Catholics still do that as a sign of respect.
Well, I mean, as a sign of respect is one thing. As a when you're mandating it and forcing people to do it, and it's not just a sign of respect, it's a sign of obedience.
Right.
And thoughtless obedience at that.
Right.
That becomes more of an issue.
Right.
I mean, but these are all things that could happen.
Yeah.
With a less progressive pope, one that's like, we've gone too far, throw it in reverse.
Right.
I don't typically think at least not in the modern era, have we really seen a pope pull the full uno reverso. It wouldn't be a good thing, but it would definitely be interesting to see that occur.
Right.
I don't necessarily think it's a major concern one should have.
No.
Unlike various presidents appointing Supreme Court justices, typically the administrations kind of take a trajectory, and each successive one is a little more or about the same.
Right.
So the change is slow, but much like the ideas of lawmaking, even. That's not inherent. That's not a flaw in the system. That's kind of a graduation process instead of instant social change.
Right.
That it should be a little more well thought out and deliberate, and have the opportunity to go, oh, that wasn't really what we should have said.
Right.
It's not what we meant. So it does give an opportunity to actually evaluate and do we want to keep going this direction, or is that whoa?
Right. And it also gives them gives the Catholic Church a chance for a new rebirth, which happens every time we get a new.
There's the benefit to popes being older generally. Is that you I mean, it's kind of a give and take. Is that they are generally well established in their religious career, very well established, so and well respected, and so when they come in, one, you have a general idea of where they're at, but two, the downside with that, and not really a flaw in the system per se, is that typically they're much older. The number of years their papacy can last is kind of life limited.
Right.
So, I mean, generally speaking, it's not it's not forever.
Right.
It's not like if you know you get a 20-year-old king,
Mm-hmm.
and oh sweet Jesus, this could be 70 years of reign.
Right.
So hope it's a good one.
Right.
Otherwise, this is going to be a reign of terror, and it's going to be a very long reign of terror.
Right.
So at least with the papacy, we are kind of looking towards someone
Right.
who's older. So even if it is a reversal, even if it is a negative direction, it's kind of a limited engagement.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like you hit the penultimate of your career. This is as high as you can go.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing else you can do. You've done it all.
Mm-hmm.
This is the summit, and so everything else
Mm-hmm.
is
Well, it'll be interesting to see who the new Pope is, because there's been a lot of talk about Latin American popes. He was, of course, a Latin American pope, Italian popes. We haven't had an Irish pope in a while. It'll be interesting if we get a European pope or even an Asian pope. Wouldn't that be a differencing of traditional history?
that would be a moment. That would be a moment.
Yeah, like the Cardinals will
Definitely.
really be setting on fire there.
Oh yeah. Well, I I don't know. It's kind of the interesting part of the Catholic Church
Mm-hmm.
is that as it's kind of cute that like we've spent so much time in religion,
Mm-hmm.
expanding religion across the world, across
Right.
the globe, and there's been very limited deviation from this old white dude
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
concept.
There's been a lot
Um,
of deviation from that.
I mean, because at some future point, long, long, long away, I figure we're going to see the Catholic Church move into women in the priesthood, fully embraced,
Right.
and then that means that we're looking at potentially a female pope.
Again.
Not again, a lot of things have to happen to make that occur.
Right, but we've already had
I
female
don't
pope
think
before.
the next pope is going to be.
Right, but we've in history had a female pope.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes.
We've already. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've already had a female pope. It's like like they went back and took it back, but no, there was at one time a female pope.
How did we manage a female? Well, okay, obviously it didn't go well.
Pope Joan.
Joan.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
who allegedly, like how the Wikipedia starts with
Right.
allegedly,
Right.
like Star Jones showed up for this one. Yeah, that was for 2 years in the 9th century.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I missed that. I had totally missed that. So I can't happen again.
Useless historical information Aeson has stored in the corner of his brain.
Oh yeah, and the notes from it are yeah.
Hilarious.
And oh yeah, a certain pope, or rather female pope.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah, you can tell the Catholic Church is 9th century though. 9th century.
Right, very early in the church. So there is a case to be argued that females should hold priesthood in the Catholic Church and cardinalship and bishopship. Now, there are some mothers that have more influences than the Pope, but they don't hold priesthood. There are some lay preachers that are female, priests that are female. But it's been a while since the Catholic Church had a priestess, and I think that would be amazing. But I think they will probably go with mother instead of priestess.
would make the most sense.
It would. And, looking at their diaspora and their history, it's like, oh, come on. Like, can we stop the bigotry of the 1500s? Thank you very much. Like, I know that you have relics. What I would hope, personally, is for the Vatican to open its vaults to the common people and digitize the information for safekeeping. So that I can be sitting here and reading the articles of Pope Zachary, the letters of Pope Zachary, without having to, A, go get a job at a museum, B, appeal to the church itself and the Pope and get permission from both to go wear white gloves and just read the letters, not be able to actually transcribe the letters.
Well, the Vatican's been very tight-lipped over the totality of its archive.
Mm-hmm.
There are parts that probably have not been seen by human eyes
For centuries.
Yeah.
Parts of them millenniums at this point.
Oh yeah, and ultimately but again, when you think about the enormity
Mm-hmm.
of existing for centuries,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot to take in and process. And I mean, I think it would be amazing,
Right.
but at the same time,
Right.
it would be a daunting task.
Right.
But no, yeah.
Yeah.
So always an interesting,
Mm-hmm. Always an interesting situation. Always an interesting game when we are waiting for white smoke. And I believe that's in 3 days the caucus will meet.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the white smoke when there's a new pope.
Yep.
White smoke, new pope.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about creating little mnemonics.
Yeah.
White smoke, new pope.
Uh-huh. So, and it'll be interesting in what direction he takes the church, especially in this modern era that they're now facing.
Yeah. Well,
We won't have a Gen X Pope for another 40 years, Gwen. Plus, I don't know if they can handle a Gen X Pope. Fuck around and find out's our motto? Really?
We're a little closer to like 25 to 30 on a Gen X Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if you go by the average age of popes,
Mm-hmm.
it would be really weird to pull one under 70.
Right.
So if you look at Gen X, that's on average about 27 years. But hey Gwen, hey Blue. Oh, it would definitely be interesting to see it all.
Yeah, we're looking at 58 to 76 as the average if we ignore the 1st to 10th century. Then they were in their 40s and 50s, which is equal to the 58 to 70.
Yeah, life expectancy expanded.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there was like a couple of popes there that just kept hanging on.
Mm-hmm.
And they went, no. Right. No more middle-aged popes. They used to be senior citizen popes, like currently. Do what now?
Well, Jean Paul was elected when he was 58. Granted, he was so influential through the 80s and 90s. Like, he slapped Reagan across the face multiple times, including surviving in a attempted
yeah, because we got the Pope Mobile.
Yeah.
Oh, the bulletproof Pope Mobile. And all the jokes that surrounded that.
Well, again, I could see.
Because it's one of those things, like, we get it, but come on.
Right, but we haven't really seen the Pope Mobile as the Pope Mobile since Jean Paul. Francis was out in the streets. He dared them to even force him into that thing.
Yeah, well, because it took so much flack.
Mm-hmm.
That it was kind of one of those moments, like, we get what you're doing. You're trying to protect the Pope. I get that.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, that is not a resounding statement of faith when you see the Pope get into the bulletproof Pope mobile.
Right. And not
No,
be able
but
to be
it
with
was
the people.
also, but it was also kind of one of the biggest like technological embracements
Hmm.
that we've seen, where it's kind of that moment where ye old faith would have said, let him try.
Yeah. God will protect.
Whereas, for some, it got taken as, look, God's tired.
Hmm.
There's bulletproof glass now. Use it.
Yeah.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Right.
Is that, avail yourself of modernity.
Right.
Take the win.
Right.
Just take the win. And move forward.
Right. And, I blow. Agwen, Sherry, we'll get your question as soon as we transfer this. We'll do your question in between topics.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Hey, Sherry.
Yeah. All right. So, and I'll get the deck warmed up for that. Yes. But, when we look at the Pope itself and the Popistry, there used to be the Queen and the Pope. Jean Paul and Elizabeth could rule the world. And I think most people would have voted for him in the U.S.
You forgot the trifecta.
Okay.
The Pope, Queen Elizabeth, and Mother Teresa.
Oh, so we're going to go.
That was the trifecta. If you want to talk about the 80s and 90s, that was the holy trifecta.
Yep. If you made all three of them happy, you had it in the bag. Whatever the policy was. Yeah. Sorry, the Pope, Elizabeth, and Mother.
I mean, Gandhi didn't even have to like you.
True, but Gandhi was harder to get influence from, because Gandhi was like, you want to do what? Fuck that. I'm going on a hunger strike. You ain't getting that. He was a moody leader.
A little.
And furthermore, you had to pose it as a riddle to even get his attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, that's what I'm saying. The trifecta of the 80s and 90s, Gandhi was great. Okay? Yeah. But Gandhi was Gandhi.
Right.
But no, the real trifecta was, Queen, Pope, and Mother Teresa.
Or
and 2 out of 3 was okay. Like Diana rocked that.
Right. The Dalai Lama. Get him in there. If we're going to go full cultural global religious leaders, you need to secure Elizabeth, Pope Francis John Paul, Pope John Paul, the Dalai Lama, and Gandhi. Get all those on board. That is the trifecta.
I mean, has the Dalai Lama really ever been bad? I'm just saying, we've had some moments in recent history where, we've pissed off the Methodists.
And I'm trying to figure out how. Did y'all not give them the right Oreos for the communion, or the right?
Yeah, typically pissing off Methodists, hard to do. Worse than that is, if you piss off the Tibetan monks. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
On a pogo stick, no less.
Yeah.
You've ticked off. Do you know how hard?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to tick off the Buddhists?
Right.
That's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a contradiction in terms.
Well, it's more than a contradiction in terms. It is a catastrophe if you have pissed off all of them. Now, modernly, that will be King Charles, the same Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama's been Dalai Lama. I don't know. He's got to be reaching an age. The new Pope.
I will say, though, the Dalai Lama can change, and we just could miss that.
the general public will. The rest of us will get a fucking telegram about it.
Well, a little slower. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think this one has done as much touring as the last one.
Not a real. Yeah, Dalai Lama doesn't really typically travel a whole lot.
Yeah, he's 89. We'll be 90. 4 days. Oh, great.
What?
The Dalai Lama and my mother's birthday are the same day.
Well, that's everything you needed to know about the Dalai Lama. Oh, I'm sorry.
So Mama Night is July 6th. The Dalai Lama is July 6th.
There you go.
So nowadays I just want to pack it in.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah. My mother.
The irony is, I have a sister with the exact same birthday as well, and it's like, that's okay, cool. That tells me actually probably a lot about the Dalai Lama. It's like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so we're not pissing him off today. Right.
Again.
Yeah.
Again, ticking off the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
You know what you have to do. Like, and it should be a moment of, here's your V8, slap your own self in the forehead. If you have ticked off the Dalai Lama, you should be real clear.
Yeah, that's like taking
Real
off.
clear.
Yeah.
About why.
Right. But, your sister, our trifecta is Mama Connie, Mama Night, and Beverly. Tick those 3 off, and we have really fucked up along the train somewhere.
You created a disaster.
Yes.
And it's not like you cannot be in the epicenter of it and be like, I don't understand what I did. Oh no, you're real clear. You're crystal on why.
Yeah.
Like, no, that seems fair.
Yeah. That's like us moving to England. I'm quite sure would tick all 3 of them off. We aren't doing that.
No, I don't even think that would do it.
Oh, I think
like,
so.
There would be an initial, like, followed by, like, well, England could be fun to visit.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think
Anyway.
I think the initial shock value would be high, and then...
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a full tick off. Like, there's not going to be a torch and pitchfork. Like, it's going to be a...
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and take Sherry's question. Yes, it's medical, so I can't get too much into medical, but I will take it on as much as I can.
All right, so Sherry, May 2nd of 63, I had an MRI. Now they are saying I need a biopsy. Any thoughts on how this will go? I'd like to know how this year is going to go.
Okay. I think that we're going to go through some scary times right now. I think that it probably will bring you back into balance. I think there's nothing major. Like, I'm not seeing major. I see the fighter card here, and for the fight, it's the Page of Swords. We're going to rush in, but we're also going to have some new ideas, some new ways of taking it on. And then with that, I think that you're going to have to walk away from some things. Nothing major this year. I think the year overall will do well for you. You just got to be pulling it together. All right. Did we have another question?
Not yet. We replied to Maria, but I know Maria's had some issues before with not catching her.
All right. So the next thing we hit our news beat is something I've been following intensely, daily. The Lori Vilo trial came through.
Well, yeah, there's been a lot going on there. So jury finds Lori Vallow Daybell guilty in murder conspiracy trial.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shock to no one. An Arizona jury has found Lori Vallow Daybell guilty of conspiring to murder her estranged husband, meaning the mother with doomsday religious beliefs faces another life sentence after she was already convicted in Idaho of the killings of her two youngest children and a romantic rival. The verdict was read in a Maricopa County Superior Courtroom on Tuesday afternoon. Prosecutors said she conspired with her brother, Alex Cox, in the July 2019 shooting death of Charles Vallow at her home in the Phoenix suburb of Chandler. She was trying to collect money from his life insurance policy and planned to marry her then boyfriend, Chad Daybell, an Idaho author. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay, hold on, I gotta catch up. I have reading mode on, which typically helps. Anyway, so Chad Daybell, an Idaho author who wrote several religious novels about prophecies and the end of the world, prosecutors said. Cox, who claimed he acted in self-defense when he fatally shot Vallow, died 5 months later from what medical examiners said was a blood clot in his lungs. Cox's account was later called into question. Jurors deliberated for a total of 3 hours over 2 days. Vallow Daybell, who isn't an attorney but chose to defend herself at trial, told jurors that during the encounter inside the house, Vallow chased her with a bat and Alex shot Vallow in self-defense after she left the house. The trial marked the first of 2 criminal trials in Arizona for Vallow Daybell. She's scheduled to go on trial again in early June on a charge of conspiring to murder Brandon Bordeaux, the ex-husband of Vallow Daybell's niece, Melanie Pulowski. Bordeaux survived the attempt. She will be sentenced in Vallow's death. After her second trial, she faces a life sentence. So Vallow Daybell is already serving 3 life sentences in the Idaho case. Last week in the Arizona trial, Adam Cox, another brother of Vallow Daybell, testified on behalf of the prosecution, telling jurors that he had no doubt that Vallow Daybell and his brother Alex were behind Vallow's death. Adam Cox said Vallow's killing occurred just before he and Vallow were planning an intervention to bring Vallow Daybell back into the mainstream of their shared faith in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He testified that before Vallow's death, his sister had told people her husband was no longer living and that a zombie was living inside his body. 4 months before he died, Vallow filed for divorce from Vallow Daybell, saying she had become infatuated with near-death experiences and had claimed to have lived numerous lives on other planets. He alleged she threatened to ruin him financially and kill him. He sought a voluntary mental health evaluation of his wife. Like you do.
Yeah.
There's got to be, like, I wonder if there's a moment in reflection of, like, really probably should have gotten her a mental health evaluation. Like,
he did.
You should have zagged.
He did. He got her one. They said she was sane. Exorbitant religious beliefs, but sane. The woman has had 4. Count them 4 mental evaluations. Every court case, she has to get a mental evaluation.
Yeah. Granted, when you kill 4 people across multiple states and in multiple different ways, like.
See, and the more and more I look at this, at her brother's death, even though it's been ruled natural causes, a blood clot in the lung, I want a talk screen. Like, I really would love a talk screen.
Oh, hey, Renee.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I'm, like, I still struggle with this whole concept that, like, you went on a murder spree, you have crazy religious beliefs, and I'm competent to stand trial, I can follow. Sane. Really?
Yeah. I also think she's got buyer's remorse. Because, of course, she can't talk to her husband, Chad Daybell, because they're both convicts. Convicts aren't allowed to have interactions.
Fair. I mean, well, or maybe not talk to him directly, but are they not even permitted to send letters?
Nope.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Because I would have thought they could have at least done that.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah. They have had no contact for 4 years. Of course, she is a horrid woman, killing her 2 children, the wife of her current husband, and her current husband. And I suspect her brother. But I will give her this. She'd make a decent defense attorney if she'd learned to shut her beak after asking questions. Like, that is what got her in trouble.
Like, just ask the question.
question.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Just ask the question.
Yeah. Because she pointed out a few things interesting in this case. Like, the police never tested the ball bat. The police never digitally copied her brother's phone. Like, she pointed out problems that any good defense attorney would have done. If she had had a little bit more knowledge, she would have argued a few other points. And this case was really just insurance in case Idaho goes under appeal.
Or if there is basically if there's an overturn of the verdicts.
Right.
That, okay, well, we still have her.
Yep.
Like, before you go to release her.
Right.
Get rid of Anne. She's going to this prison now.
Right. What's scary to me, and this has been a tie-in that I sent to the dude at East Idaho News for him to look into, is listening to her rhetoric comparative to the Frankie's rhetoric. Sounds very similar.
Well, in terms of the religious beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
and there is a weird commonality there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you argued that there's something went wrong at an LDS conference. And
Right.
it wasn't even directly, I think, an LDS conference. It
was a group conference of calling the people. Something's wrong in that sphere.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting a little overrepresented real quick.
Right.
But yeah, something is in that vein.
Yeah.
Either that or, correlative, not causative.
Right.
That like the people that showed up for that are also going off in
very scary directions.
In scary directions, yeah. So, like, check yourself. Something about what you're doing is appealing to people you probably don't want to be heavily associated with.
Right.
Just
FYI.
That's an idea. No one wants to be the murderer's gun of choice.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, the gun manufacturers have never been really happy about being directly associated with murder.
Right.
It's like, well, that's not why we make guns, and that wasn't the intended purpose, yada, yada, yada. It got them out of a lot of lawsuits.
Right.
But ultimately,
right.
At some point, you have to look at the mountain of things and go, well, you seem to be the gun of choice.
Right.
However you want to, slice that.
Right.
We're not saying that, per se you caused this, but
you done something.
You're attracting all the wrong people. So what are you doing?
Right.
Like, how did you become the gun of choice?
Right.
So yeah,
yeah, and it's like, ooh, not good, not good, not good, not good for your view.
Yeah. Well, and granted, even in that, it could be something as simple of, it was the most price efficient gun on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you only intend to use it for this one criminal act.
Mm-hmm.
Why go broke?
Exactly.
You're not really a gun enthusiast. You're just using a tool to take care of a problem.
Right.
Which is a horrible way to look at murder, but I figure at some point you make a list.
Right.
What do you need? I'm on a budget.
Saturday night special, 9 bullets. If you can't shoot with that, you got a problem. Yeah.
Like somewhere in there. Figure it out.
Figure it out.
But I mean, and it could be as simple as like change your price.
Yeah.
Become the least cost efficient model.
Right.
Make it your competitor's problem.
Right.
But again, it's kind of that thing is it doesn't necessarily have to be this conference was bad and did horrible damage to people. That's not what we're trying to get.
And it may not even be that. That's not where we're at. Something's going on.
There's an appeal there that strikes something for these people. Like, I don't know what it is, but I think if I were running that conference, I would be finding out what it is.
Yes.
And then
very quickly.
Let's never do that again.
Yeah. That or find if there's a rogue religious movement so that you stop being labeled LDS. Or they stop being labeled LDS because she still has her temple. The one thing that they were going to take, where they were going to use to get her back into the flock and to stop all the insanity, she still has.
Yeah.
Makes sense with that one. All right. So we have some psychic business news.
We do.
Somebody might want to start cracking some books.
Yeah, man. All right. So the astrology, according to a new report published by Allied Market Research titled Astrology Market, the astrology market size was valued at $12.8 billion in 2021 and is estimated to reach $22.8 billion by 2031, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 5.7% from 2022 to 2031. So since the beginning of time, humans have looked to the stars for guidance. Astrology has been practiced for thousands of years. While it is no longer considered the scholarly tradition that it once was, many people continue to study the influence of celestial bodies on human activity. The general public's interest in astrology has steadily increased over the last few decades, laying the groundwork for its seemingly sudden surge in popularity today. Signs of the current astrology boom can be found all over the internet. It doesn't take long to come across horoscopes, social media accounts, or zodiac-themed listicles online. People frequently turn to astrology in times of stress. In 1982, psychologist Graham Tyson conducted a small study that discovered that people who consult astrologers did so in response to stressors in their lives, particularly stress related to the individual's social roles and relationships. Under high stress, the individual is willing to use astrology as a coping mechanism, whereas under low stress, he does not believe in it. According to American Psychological Association survey data, millennials have been the most stressed generation since 2014, and they are also the generation most likely to say their stress has increased in the last year since 2010. In the last year. Since 2010, millennials and Gen Xers have been significantly more stressed than older generations. Furthermore, Americans have experienced increased stress because of the political upheaval that has occurred since the 2016 presidential election. According to the APA's 2017 poll, 63% of Americans are extremely concerned about the future of their country. 56% of people said reading the news stressed them out, with millennials and Gen Xers significantly more likely to say so than older people. Political infighting, climate change, global crises, and the threat of nuclear war have recently dominated the news. As a result of rising stress, astrology market demand is high, which is fostering the astrology market growth However, fake astrology practices hamper the market growth.
Hello? We were talking about this BS.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fun. So fake astrology practices have gained popularity among fraudsters and online astrology providers. Or excuse me, and online astrology provides them with a large platform. Astrology bots are a common type of fraud in which messages are sent to various people based on data received. The data included personal information such as recipient's name, age, or hometown. The psychic appeared to have intuited this information. It was pieced together from suckers lists sold by data brokers and information provided unknowingly by victims in the past. As a result, high levels of fraud undermine consumer trust, impeding the astrology industry growth. Many brands are using astrology as a key astrology industry strategy to boost their sales. For instance, ColourPop collaborated with beauty influencer Kathleen Lights to create a Zodiac-inspired eyeshadow palette in 2018. In 2019, Dior launched a Zodiac jewelry collection as well as an accessories collection that included scarves, shoes, and other items. Spotify launched a cosmic playlist in mid-2021, curating a personalized playlist based on each user's audio birth chart. Audio birth chart?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Audio natal chart? Didn't see that frickin' option in the software.
Well, it's not. It's, again, customizable. You take your birth date, you take your birth time, you take your birth location, create a natal chart. It's going to tell you specific interest you have in there. Some people have an interest, and it's very easy to see if they have a highly intelligent, high beat interest, so they're going to be the rock category. However, like a Leo will most likely would like modern pop.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, aside from Zodiac-themed products, another popular trend is the rise of Zodiac applications such as CoStar and The Pattern.
Mm-hmm.
According to Sensor Tower, an app tracking firm, astrology apps in the U.S. market saw a 64.7% increase in revenue to nearly $40 million in 2019. Society may not be as reliant on astrology for a living as it was back then, but horoscopes are still a popular topic in everyday life today.
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, people's belief in astrology are so strong that they screen people with certain signs for professional positions. For example, some companies stated that their job opening was open to all zodiac signs, even if they prioritized certain ones. Or, in the absence of such policy, an HR representative at a company uses her own personal judgment when screening job applicants with specific zodiac signs. As a pseudoscience, astrology's power is still widely accepted in modern society, and its presence is undeniable. Some businesses use astrological personality profiles to chart all their employees so that management could be aware of all their cycles. Clever, an influencer marketing agency, for example, combined the MBTI test with traditional astrology to create office astrology. According to CEO Kat Lincoln, office astrology provides a shorthand for clarifying things, which helps them avoid misunderstandings. The exponential market growth presents an astrology market opportunity for brands to profit. This is referred to as astrological marketing. One of the most common ways for brands to capitalize on the astrology themed products or services, as the international brands mentioned at the start of this article have done.
Mm-hmm.
Is to create, the astrology market is segmented on the basis of type, mode, end user, generation, and region. Okay, we're getting a little more technical.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a market report. Of course, it's going to be technical, but the important parts is like paying attention to the increased stress levels, understanding digital engagement, understanding the different types of astrology as an astrologer you may be asked to do.
Yeah. Well, but we are facing a unique time,
Mhm.
at least technologically, with AI generation. Like, it's not just bots anymore. Like this article, even though it was just released yesterday, it is based on some older data and some older research. Like, hi, we're in suddenly into ChatGPT.
Right.
And companies trying to look at using and astrology companies
Right.
trying to use it to kind of create a digital advisor
Right.
that is AI based.
Mhm.
And granted, sorry, consumers, to let you know, most companies have not quite gotten there yet,
Mhm.
despite your belief that you're talking to a bot, because that's actually come up.
Did they ever
Um,
release that?
do what now?
There's supposed to be a bot Aeson. I don't know if they've ever released it or not.
The Aeson bot?
Yeah.
Come on. I think if they did, like, it's gonna go mental in like 20 minutes of operation. Because there's some limiting factors that AI still hasn't quite
Mhm.
gotten.
Yeah.
Like, it just and it's still part of the like fine tuning. And when I say fine tuning, it's still a course adjustment, but it's part of the fine tuning of synthesizing intelligence
Yeah.
and creating a neural pathway in a digital entity that is not necessarily strongly bound.
Right.
Like, and that's ultimately what we're seeing is most of the glitching out of AI comes from being able to go places humans normally don't.
Right.
So it's kind of a
Yeah. Like they've not
your
released the
mileage will.
Aeson. They've got the Atlas out. But no, like I was part of a project
Mhm.
um, to help build an AI version of me. Um,
Like,
and
y'all
it's
have fun. You go try to make the virtual ASIN.
have fun with that. You're going to have a lot of information available.
Well, more to the point, it's and sometimes the struggle is you're trying to teach and synthesize data
Mm-hmm.
based on what is fundamentally chance encounters
Right.
that varies greatly. Like, you're going to
Right.
catch some commonalities, but as to actual
Right.
true engagement with the unique circumstances
Mhm.
and
Right.
what, like, the astrological information says, what the tarot cards actually mean, because
Mm-hmm.
ultimately the AI is not going to be shuffling a real deck.
Right.
This
Yeah.
is going to be random number generation.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some major obstacles to overcome to get a virtual ASIN
Mm-hmm.
that has any
Right.
consistency in
Right.
terms of validity of reading, versus, like, hi, you shuffled an actual deck. You may be looking at this situation, what someone just said, and be like, burn his shit. The cards are like, take a breath.
Right. Exactly. But I find it interesting because IBS does these reports on the psychic industry, on the astrology industry. And I love it when people go, oh, but that's not a real business. You don't need to understand all that. And it's like, oh, yeah, you need to understand what that 4.3% means, how you're going to apply it to your business, and how you can plan your life with it. Because, yes, it's a market report. You need to understand the level of marketing. Yes, this is something that goes into being a business owner.
Well, yeah, I mean, fundamentally, everything's a market.
Yeah.
Whether you believe in it or not, it is a market.
Mm-hmm.
It's a market.
Right.
It's a business.
Right.
People are making money, looking to get up to 22.8 billion
Mm-hmm.
in the next 6 years.
Well, astrology is 22.8 billion.
Mm-hmm.
The psychic industry itself is going to see a 2.3 billion increase over the next 2 years.
Mhm. Like you can't argue with it. It's a
Right.
business.
It's a business. It's
Like
a
it's
very
fundamentally a business.
intelligent business.
Yeah. Like it's there. It exists.
Right.
Like if you don't study it,
Mm-hmm. If you don't know how to
it's
sit here
fine.
and read the reports and understand the economical systems, thank God. And I hated that damn class. Dear God, said I hate that class in college. Economics drove me up a wall and across the board.
Oh no, I had a great time with Dr. Overton.
I didn't.
It was fun. Like no, Econ 101 and 102 was great.
Right.
Overton was amazing.
Right.
If he's still teaching at UNCG, please take his class. You'll love it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, like the whole thing, like econ makes sense. Macro and
Right.
microeconomics makes sense. It's not, you're just looking at and analyzing trends and
Right.
influences. That's
Right.
it. That's it.
Right.
Like, don't overthink it. You're
Right.
looking at what the data tells you.
Right.
What's going on? And you do have to be open to the idea that some things affect markets that
Right.
you don't have data for.
Right.
You don't know why it's occurring. You can try to speculate on why it's occurring. Some of it's going to be like you get fun correlations. Those are interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't necessarily explain everything, but you can track it with it anyway.
Right.
It's sort of like the statistical correlation that exists. And I saw a video that brought this up. So I have not fact checked this. I could be wrong, but apparently there is a massive spike of shark attacks that follows ice cream sales.
Mm-hmm.
And so it would be really easy to think, stop selling ice cream, stop the shark attacks.
Right. But there's a massive upsell of ice cream because there is a shark attack and people can't get in the water.
No.
No, okay.
No. It all has to do with the same thing. The temperature went up.
Mm-hmm.
You sell more ice cream when it's hot, sharks attack more when it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the whole connection.
Right.
But you can figure out really quickly if you see ice cream sales soaring,
mm-hmm.
there's going to be a shark attack.
All right.
It's literally, you can predict it.
Right.
Like sudden increase in temperature, same trend line.
Right.
There's going to be a shark attack, and you can sell a shit ton of ice cream.
Yeah.
No, the sharks don't think you taste better after eating ice cream. They do not care. You are popcorn to a shark.
And you tend to be popcorn to a shark.
Yeah.
So it must rather have whale.
They would much rather have a lot of things, but fine. Munch on some human.
Yeah.
Like nom 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 nom.
Sorry, posting these into the success coaching section.
Okay.
There we go. All right.
But
yeah.
So interesting things coming out of the astrology market. Which, I mean, it's a lot more than just the astrology market, though.
Yeah,
or are they finally just lumping it all together?
Well, there's multiple players here. There's the astrology market. There's IBS, which is one I read earlier today and went, oh, great. I'm not getting a vacation. Especially when we're looking at a 4.3 to 4.8 growth spurt over the next two. Here. Dun, 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 dun. Where is it? I just fucking had it. Not that one. Go to Facebook. You just posted it there, dum-dum. Here, I'll just post this to you. And we can talk about these points.
Okay.
And yeah, we're going over to have a conversation.
That's
Since I've got two of my leading psychics here.
All right. So the psychic services industry, encompassing both traditional and online offerings, is experiencing notable growth, paralleling trends observed in the astrology market. Oh, the psychic. Okay, sorry. Here's an overview of the current landscape. Market overview: U.S. Psychic Service in 2025. The U.S. Psychic Services market is valued at approximately 2.3 billion, with around 105,000 businesses operating nationwide. The industry has seen a compound annual growth rate, CAGR again, of 4.3% from 2019 to 2024. So that was IBIS World online. So then we have in 2025, the U.S. Psychic Services market is valued at approximately 2.3 billion, with around 105,000 of. Okay. Oh, the global online psychic reading market is projected to grow from 3.7 billion in 2025 to 6.5 billion by 2034, exhibiting a CAGR of 6.44% during the forecast period. So that's market research
Futures.
Market research futures. Okay.
Yeah.
So key growth drivers: digital transformation, advancements in technology such as video conferencing, mobile apps, and AI-powered chatbots have made psychic services more accessible and appealing to a broader audience. Market research future personalized spiritual guidance. There's a rising demand for tailored spiritual support to assist individuals in facing various challenges and making informed decisions. So and then we have service modalities and platforms, modes of delivery. Services are offered through various channels, including live video chats, phone calls, emails, and text messages, with live video chat expected to hold the largest market share due to its interactive nature. Market research future platform preferences. Mobile apps are gaining dominance due to smartphone proliferation, while websites and telephonic services continue to cater to specific user preferences.
Right. Now, what did we do with this information? What can we use this information for? Well, one, I got a backdrop.
Yep.
That looks more like a backdrop instead of an office, and I see that I fixed the wrong side of the video, so I've got to do that.
Yes.
Two, I had to order some new clothes. Duh, I've lost weight. I also need work clothes.
Yeah, and you got to start getting flowers and make it pretty in there, and you got to, embrace the idea that you're going on camera.
Yeah, every day.
That's the future of this business. Is not going to be continuing to take phone calls till you drop dead, not continuing to do chat till you drop dead. Effectively, those are starting to fall into the concept of your grandmother's typewriter.
Yeah.
Not a really useful tool in 2025.
Right.
For delivering psychic services.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
I mean, you could do a really nice composition, throw together a beautiful video of, the reading, typing out on a typewriter. You would hit a very specific market that will love you for that video and call you up. But other than that,
right. But I'm not dragging that damn thing out of the attic.
But aesthetically would be gorgeous.
Yeah.
But again, we're back to the point of the way we're interacting with people now is video.
Yeah.
Thank you, TikTok. Because
Hello.
ultimately, TikTok is what pushed that one mainstream. I'm not saying YouTube doesn't have value. It definitely does. But in terms of marketing,
right,
alone,
right,
marketing, this marketing is now dominated by video.
Yeah.
Like text ads, static ads aren't really driving it as much anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like are and being able to deliver content in a
short amount of time.
1 minute, 3 minute, 6-minute video,
Right.
that's where your market is.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And this is important for those listening that are in the industry. Where is 40% of our market at?
All right, so key areas include love and relationships. That's 40%. And that dominates over career and finances, spirituality and guidance, and health and wellness.
Right.
So,
well, yeah. The market research future targets audience servicing to cater to individuals, businesses, and mental health professionals with a significant potential of marketing driven by individuals seeking personal guidance. What does that mean? Well, that means we got to be social. We've got to be individuals. They no longer want cookie cutter. This is going to sway those fucking industries very big ways. Because for a long time now, they've driven us to look like we can be cookie cutter. No, they want to know what I had for dinner, where I had, where I've gone to, what,
and the networks, the platforms that don't embrace the reality that you don't own these people anymore.
No.
Like, I'm sorry if you're running a massive platform, network,
right.
business. The customers are sick and tired of being owned. And in terms of marketing to them, you can't do that.
Right.
Like, you've got to embrace the flexibility of this is one methodology to get in touch with people. Now, within that, there is significant opportunity by providing better tools.
Right.
Like, give the advisors a reason to, and the customers a reason to prefer your tool over some other tool.
Right. And the other
that's your key growth area.
Right. And the other key growth area is understanding languages. I need to take some Mandrake. Sorry. I need to.
Oh, what, Mandarin?
Asian Pacific is the new region expanding growth driven by increased unavailability, app population, and growth of investing into spiritual marketing research history. I really need to. Now, granted, my Taiwanese clients, they speak better English than I do. My Latin American clients, they speak wonderful English also. So I've never had that problem, but I'm sure there's untapped markets there.
Well, but you may never have that problem.
Yeah.
Through pure world laziness.
Yeah.
English has become one of the most important languages now.
Right.
It's the way it's worked out. Like, there's no other way to say it than like the English-speaking world was too damn lazy to learn another language and use it. Ultimately, the rest of the world went, fine.
Right.
We'll learn English.
Exactly. Go over there and lay down. If you guys hear this sound, it's the only thing I found that Gizmo replies to is the air can.
Yeah, doesn't like the air can. He's very on the air can. Yeah. All right, so in terms of comments, where are we at?
Yeah. All right, so understanding that these market complexities changes the field of the marketing business. Well, changes the field of the psychic business because we are now our own game plan. The networks then have to play into us. They're playing into us. Like you guys, if you're seeing my page, you're going to be seeing pound keen psychics all over the place. Impact articles all over the place. The marketing company they use is called Impact. Our baristas have agreed that actually told me to go make my bank. So you guys will may even see some product reviews here as the influencer side of it picks up.
Oh, so I've been meaning to ask a question. Have you heard, speaking of marketing, and guys, don't freak out, have you heard of the new recommended marketing trend? 100 posts a day.
Oh, I heard that. And I flat out said, fuck that.
Well, because now the argument with it is you're into, and this is why I said don't freak out. it's already happening.
Yeah.
The whole reason
Mm-hmm.
that you're seeing marketing for some individuals
Mm-hmm.
or some businesses is because they're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because algorithmically,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to see all 100 posts per day. You're
Right.
not going to sit there and just get dinged up one side and down the other with 100 posts. But to overcome the saturation of the market,
I'm gonna be right back.
okay.
Keep talking.
So to overcome the saturation of the market, it is now recommended to do 100 posts a day. And I'm just sitting there with that going, I get it, but at this point, isn't that like once that proliferates, isn't it going to become 1,000 posts a day to basically game the algorithm into promoting your content? Where does it end? At what point does this just become the giant landfill of content to churn and burn as quickly as possible to trick the algorithm to promote you
Right.
through high content delivery?
Right. That I need more than I need more than a team that I have. You know,
Oh, yeah.
because I have a business manager and I have a personal assistant. I can't do more.
Right. Well, but the idea isn't necessarily to do different.
Uh-huh.
It's just to keep chirping it out there.
Right.
Just over and over and over and over and over. Just set the because like big surprise, we've talked about it before. You already use a content a social media management
Right.
service
Mm-hmm.
to schedule your content.
Right.
All this is functionally saying is, yeah, and then post it again and again and again and
Uh-huh.
again and again and again, and just keep posting it
Uh-huh.
until the algorithm magically decides the moment is right
Mm-hmm.
and it hits people. But my concern is, I get what you're doing, and you are going to fundamentally flood the algorithm so hard that, yeah, it's going to promote your content.
Right.
But what happens when that proliferates
Mm-hmm.
and it goes up by an order of magnitude? Now you have to post 1,000 times a day
Right.
to game the algorithm
Mm-hmm.
to get the content in front of people. And how are social media companies going to handle the influx?
Right. That's insane.
What's going to, like, at what point is, Zuckerberg going to go, fucking stop posting?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
You are out. You are exceeding our capacity.
Right.
To just keep adding new content, especially now when it's video-based content.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially, unless they're deduping,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to see that video
Mm-hmm.
as new content every single time you upload the fucking video.
Right.
So now it's, 20 megs plus 20 megs plus 20 megs plus, or 100 megs plus 100 megs plus, depending upon the length of your content and whether you do any compression on it. Over and over and over and over. At what point does social media go, stop?
Right.
I wonder if social media companies are already starting to embrace the realities that you created the algorithm and social media marketers have figured out how to game it.
Right. Well,
so now you created this beast. You got to figure out how to store it.
Well, recently Zuckerberg said that this video will not be on Facebook in 30 days. Every 30 days, your content expires.
And I think a lot of it is trying to figure out how the hell.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell.
Mm-hmm.
But it also influences what happens to just normal users.
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, Facebook became a giant scrapbook. It is your life. It is, Like if you're a normal average user,
Right.
that kind of loss,
Mm-hmm.
especially to millennials, may I point out, as a millennial, we went through some tech, and not by choice.
Right.
Like we embraced some of it once we were older, but we've been through some tech.
Mm-hmm.
Like starting with VHS home camcorders, moving into digital photos and video, cell phone photos and video.
Mm-hmm.
We got caught in the switch over from film, literal film, to tape, to disc, to like we've outlived multiple recording formats in 40 years,
Right.
30 some years, and most of it got lost.
Yeah.
We are the least photographed, least videoed generation. Not because quite frankly, we were the most videoed and most photographed.
Right.
Because of, the availability of VHS, digital cameras, all this. What has happened is archive and retention failed.
Yeah.
Failed. VHS tapes, all of our fucking parents did the same damn thing. Extended record time, 8-hour record time, the EP setting, did not hold up more than 5-10 years, which meant most of that video failed before we got the technology to digitize it.
Right.
Across the board.
Right.
So just like if you want to know why like capture devices fundamentally as a market kind of fizzled, it's because a bunch of people, High Pinnacle Software, you're having a moment right now. We understand. But all of this came to market and it was already too late. A few people that bought it for the intended purpose to take this VHS tape and put it into digital format suddenly found out that your VHS tape is static.
Yep.
With a couple of seconds of video that is horrible. But a couple of seconds of real video, and it's gone.
Right.
There's no correction.
Right.
Your tape erased itself because it got old.
Yep.
Because the format you recorded in had no redundancy.
Right.
That's what you lost when you did EP mode.
Right.
Meanwhile, companies kept selling, oh, well, with our tape, you get 8 hours. So everyone took one tape and recorded 8 hours worth of shit.
Right.
And that's if your parents didn't inadvertently record Home Improvement, Roseanne,
Right.
or porn over your beautiful childhood memory and or their wedding.
Right.
That literally a thing that has happened.
Yeah.
So and by then they knew better. Like that's the irony. The irony is when they got this camcorder and bought their VHS tape and set it to EP and recorded your, baby's first steps, baby's kindergarten graduation, baby's whatever. By the time that tape was sitting there and they needed to record Roseanne, they knew better. They knew better than hit EP.
Right.
Knew better. Don't ever hit it.
Right.
Because the quality sucks. But nowhere in their brain did they go, oh, we should probably buy a second VCR, take these tapes, and re-record them.
Yeah.
Now, because what we got told was this format was near indestructible. Like, it's going to take decades.
Oh,
well, okay.
We're in decades.
Well, but what they didn't clarify is that's at the not EP,
Mm-hmm.
the higher quality mode, that will last for will last for a much longer time.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. All right, let's find out if you're the asshole.
All right. Oh, am I the asshole for choosing my roommate's business over a big family reunion after how my family acted? About 3 years ago, I left my ex. He wasn't a horrible guy or anything, but I was unhappy. He was obsessed with a video game and did some weird things on it. We had a dead bedroom and he wouldn't work on it, and we just shifted into roommates, really. I didn't have enough saved for my own place, but I knew if I didn't leave, I'd end up stuck. I asked members of my family if I could stay with them until I had things figured out and had a plan for roughly 1 month up to 2 months. They all declined, so I lived in my car for a while. My family is big on pulling yourself up by the bootstraps, no handouts, accept the consequences of your choices, etc., so I was not surprised. I did not have local friends to ask. Thankfully, after a few months, my high school friend Penny moved back to town and invited me to be her roommate, and that's where I am now. Now, for the conflict. LOL. My mom asked me what I was doing in August because they were trying to get everyone to Florida for a family reunion. They had made reservations and things under the assumption I'd go. A while ago, Penny asked me if I could help her out at her craft fairs this year. She does 10 to 15 of them, and it's a big to-do. She sells gorgeous jewelry and ceramics. I gladly accepted. I told my mom that I had plans over the summer and wouldn't be able to come. She got angry with me and asked me what plans could be better than a trip to Florida. I explained what I'd be doing, and she scoffed. She told me that this was probably the last time we'd all get to be with some of the older family. She said I have no sense of familial obligation. Suddenly, there's a family obligation for me to pay to travel to Florida and spend time with people who wouldn't even help me out when I needed it. I went to family dinners where at the end of the night I'd leave and go sleep in my car in the Walmart parking lot and nobody blinked. I brought that up to my mom and she immediately said that my own bad choices are why I ended up living in my car and they were not required to coddle me as a grown woman. I said it goes both ways. She said I was being a petty brat. I ended the call. My sister later called me about it and asked me what my problem was and why I'm still holding ancient grudges against the rest of them and how this trip was supposed to be a big reset for the family. I do know that that there are a few members of my family I probably won't see again if I don't go. This is the main reason I wonder if I'm just holding on to hurt or if it's justified for me to do this. Am I the asshole for not going to the family reunion and picking my roommate instead? I think you're going to your family reunion in the form of arts and crafts fairs for you, so you're not the asshole. Penny is obviously more family to you than your family is, and you have every right to go and help her out because she helped you out. I don't see a logical fault in that. So the fact that you're not going to see the family that didn't really care, you were living in your car in a Walmart parking lot, I can't see the asshole problem there. No.
Right. You're not the asshole for not going to a family reunion of someone that isn't family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. You know. Thank you, Pendulum. I'm going to go ahead and take that question. Why you guys vote on if you're the asshole. All right. Go ahead and pop that one.
Oh, I gotta go.
It starred.
Huh?
It starred.
Okay, cool. So yes, Natalie says 42184. What do I need to know about the changes coming up over the next short months?
All right, overall, here we go. Rock, shock, and barrel. First of all, you got to start making some damn choices and decisions and holding to them. Part of that requires you to take some rest and reflection. That also puts you onto a new path, a new way of doing things, walking away from the old things that do not serve you and have not served you for a while, so that you can plan out when your ship is going to come in. You tend to overworry, overthink, overprocess. That stops you from overcoming things. There's also items you're not looking to see and not caring to see. And with that, you, however, need to start using fate a little bit more.
All right, so a happy magical birthday. There are your next few months.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Did we have any others that we happened to miss? No. Okay.
I think we got them all.
Yay. All right, so the poll is up. Feel free to begin voting. And let's go over to psychic advice.
All right. Oh, did you send over a psychic advice? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I missed it. It got in the middle. All right. Can someone help explain to me? So all of my life, I've been able to read people's energy and mental state. Even over the phone, I can feel how the other person is feeling. I've always just thought that this was my empathy and result of emotional neglect in growing up. But lately, about a year or so, I've been picking up energies from people who aren't there. Like I can feel an energy, but I'm alone. Sometimes I also get visuals of people in my head, of people I've never seen, and they can be sad or angry or anything really. And I don't really understand what that is. Can anyone in this community help explain it to me? Sending all of you good energy.
Yes, you are an untapped, untrained psychic and probably a medium of some sort. You definitely have and are used to having the of being an empath, not having empathy, but empathic abilities. You're now beginning to experience mediumship. Those spirits walking around see you as this big light in the middle of a dark space, and it's like, ooh, let's go talk to her. I highly recommend you getting into some spiritual training classes.
Especially since you're now starting to have it randomly.
Yes.
Because that typically will only intensify.
Yes. And
it's sort of like when if you really want to think about it, it's kind of like that moment in Poltergeist, where it's like stay away from the light. You are the light, and everyone's now flocking to it. Like
right.
It's going to crowd the space. So yeah, that's fundamentally just going to keep intensifying.
And continue to intensify and continue to show light. And you've got to continue to do your psychic work and manage your energy and manage your fluctuation and get education. That is not a book. That isn't a class where you actually have to do the work.
Yeah. So, and right now you're just feeling the energy like randomly. Yeah. That's not all that uncomfortable.
Right.
When it gets more intense, that's going to be more slaps in the face.
That's going to be more showing up.
Get ahead of it. You can at least have a better control over it and be like, no, stop.
Yeah.
Not right now. No.
Right.
This is no. You can take several steps backwards.
Yeah. Preferably in a triangle.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So with all of that, Let's go see who voted to who the asshole is.
And survey says
No, you are not the asshole. Go to the craft fairs with your own family and ignore your birth family. You are not the asshole.
sometimes chosen family is the better family.
Exactly.
I mean, it's one of those things, especially in this situation, and I find it ironic, I will say, that they're calling this reunion the big reset, yet it just sounds like you want to reset back to doing everything the way you've been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how much more does it take you to figure out that what you're doing isn't working?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, this should be your wake up call. Is you have a child, a niece, a cousin, whatever the relationship, sister, sibling is, that just doesn't want to be there. That this is not important to them.
Right.
If you need to know how you're doing,
right,
that can be a pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
Especially the things you're having to say.
Mm-hmm.
The guilt tripping, the minimizing, the things that are going on there
Right.
that you're feeling compelled to say.
Right.
That should be your great big giant flashing light that if you actually want to reset,
Right.
you need to understand why people are making choices
Mm-hmm.
and evaluate your behavior that's causing that.
Right.
Like, if you want something different, if you have hope of something different, you've got to get it through your head why the experience is happening the way it's happening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to get more of this.
Yeah.
There's no reset at that point. It's just the same thing.
Over and over and over.
So right now, those older family members that OP is not going to see one last time. And I put that in air quotes because that's one of the oldest claims and guilt trips in the world is I may just not be here next year, or I'll be there, the Lord willing, I'm still alive. It's why I go to shaky old people voice when I read it.
Right, but I also think that at a time that's just really.
Well, see, I gotta say, as much as I love, and I do love my grandmother, she she screwed up.
Right.
So somewhere after my grandfather died, in her 70s, she started down that path. Well, I just don't know how much longer I'll be here.
Right.
And for the first decade, that was a guilt trip.
Right.
That worked. After 2 decades, it started wearing thin. After nearly 3 decades, it was like, you're going to outlive us. This guilt trip is so damn old, it now has back pain.
Right.
Like, stop.
Up.
Like 70 to 80 to 95. Yeah, no. Sorry, you're not getting away with it this time. Yeah. It's just everyone eye rolled through that. Like, yeah, you won't be here next year. We've heard that one before. Like that, Mercury Topaz was going to be the last car you ever bought. And then Ford Escort was going to be the last car you ever bought. And then the Mercury Sable was going to be the last car you ever bought.
Right.
But the Kia Soul was the last one you actually ever bought. Like, that's what I'm saying is you got to note to old people, if you're watching this and you're getting there, you need to consult with your doctor carefully before you start pulling the guilt trip of, I just don't know if I'm going to be here next year. that whole green banana spiel
Mm-hmm.
has a shelf life.
Mm-hmm.
And it progressively stops working. Like, people are just like, what?
Right.
After a certain point, you get about a good solid 5 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
A good 7. Like solid 7, you can predictably rely on being able to use that and get results.
Right.
After that, it's kind of, it's not even day-old vegetable at that point. It's the big brown goo of banana that everyone's just, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We know you won't be here next year. Yeah.
Right.
No one reacts to it anymore. So before you start using it, consult with your doctor. Make sure you really are moving into the don't buy any green bananas portion of your life.
Right.
Or just use it sparingly.
Right.
Like, one of the two, you can't.
Right.
It becomes boy who cries wolf. You really do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Brenda points out, and if she wants to go see one of those old relatives, grab the roommate and make a road trip out of it. Find some great places to visit and see them. Meanwhile, she points out, I've got one that's been dying since he was 35. I doubt I'll hit insert an age.
Yeah.
And they have, like, how many years has this been going on, Brenda?
Yeah.
How many years? Because, again, once you start using it, like, there's no undo.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta, I mean, because ultimately it's true. We're all dying.
Yeah.
We're all dying. But if you want to die of old age and still have the ability to command performance, people, 40 years, so now it's 75. Yeah, I'm sure the eye roll is just, oh, yes, we know you're dying, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and it's just like, can you stop this? Can we just stop the emotional BS?
Like, at 40 years, if I doubt I'll make it another year, or whatever version of it that comes out,
right.
That's like 250,000 miles on a vehicle. I just don't know how much longer it's going to last.
Right.
And you started it at, like, 50,000 miles.
Right.
Like, yeah, don't know how much longer that car is going to hold out.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. All righty. So let's wrap this up. It's been great. I will see you on Friday at 9 p.m.
I'll be here too.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda says, keep it up and you might not make it.
Exactly. All right. So take it away, darling.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, and Bella. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes. All right, guys. We'll see you then. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Buckle up, y'all. It's time to drop.